Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second game of the day for the Mythic League. We've got Poseidon Gaming versus Team OOD, two of our oldest teams in the league. Very excited to see these two go head-to-head again.
Yeah, so am I. I just honestly, something I didn't notice before this game was that Antunes is actually on OOD's side. And I think that's a little bit of past storyline. Antunes actually used to be the support for POG, and he looks like he's swapped teams since then.
Top 10 anime betrayals right there. It's actually either an anime betrayal or it's gonna be Brother Antunes, and he's gonna betray a OOD. But we're getting underway into this draft. Early on, pretty standard for the most part. A quick Nocturne coming out here from Poseidon. Not sure if that's top or jungle. I would presume top, given recent play how that's been recently playing out. But we'll see how that goes the rest of this draft.
Yeah, I mean, the top lane Nocturne, Chinese Nocturne top, it's really good at doing what it does. It's just meant to push in the lane, and at the lower level, and when there's not much communication going around, it can be very disruptive with his ult. His ultimate is honestly just used as a tool to disrupt teams rather than just going in for engage. It does a lot more than that, and as we see this, the Hecarim was banned out on POG, and it looks like they decided to give up the handshake Udyr, and it looks like OOD picks it up right away.
Yeah, and the strongest support in the game coming out for OOD right now. I know Thresh is a monster. I know they've nerfed him a bit, but I mean, it's Thresh. You hit a hook and it's game over. I agree. I think it's weird they just gave up the Udyr after banning the Hecarim. I mean, Udyr is still a menace in this game, but maybe they have a counter pick in store for us for this. Ooh, I like that. I haven't seen this in a bit. Just like last game we were talking about, seeing in a bit. I'm excited for this one. Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, with the Rumble being picked up, presumably you'd expect that to be top lane or mid lane, as the Nocturne was already picked up for Booside 1. Looks like OOD picked up the Udyr for R1 and the Thresh, which is one of Antunes' favorite, as we probably already guessed, as he likes hooking champions, and they've banned out the Morgana. So you could have assumed that was probably a Blitzcrank or a Thresh going to come out.
Yeah, and for those unaware, Rumble did get buffed recently. Actually, was it on this patch or was it the previous patch he got the buffs? I'm trying to remember.
Either way, he is buffed.
Yeah, he's a strong character right now. Rumble is a strong little Yordle in a little derpy mech. But yeah, I'm assuming then though that's going to be top lane Rumble unless it's a really crazy mid lane swap. So I'm guessing that's jungle Nocturne then, and thus mid lane still on the board for Poseidon, and Udyr immediately banning after that last game in Anivia after having watched what was going on there.
Yeah, I mean, from this side, it looks like the Rumble was honestly a good pick. It's a good blind pick, but overall, it's going to be very hard for OOD to walk through chokes. With their team comp, with the Udyr and the Thresh, it's going to be very hard to walk through that Rumble. If he's just even, the ultimate is going to hurt them and probably just play a big part of their team fights.
Yeah, and so far, it's a very much pile-on comp. You expect the Nocturne to ult in, you expect Braum to hit a 5-man ult and the Rumble ult on top of it and just keep them slowed and burning forever. It's a good start. What to see what else they get along with that. I would expect maybe we see something like, probably like, I don't know, like a Scion, something that just knocks something that can maybe try to knock people up, or get a Renekton, someone that can stun someone in place and keep everyone a little bit distracted, maybe allow them to hit all their abilities on at least one target to take out in a fight immediately. But we'll see what they go here. So we get into the first pick of the second phase for Udyr. It's going to be... What would you expect to hear them to pick here? Their top lane or their AD carry?
For Team Udyr, I'd expect the AD carry, because normally on the red side, you want to leave that up for a top counter pick, as Team OOD is actually opted to ban out a top laner and a mid laner with the Gameplay and the Anivia, so they're unsure of where this Nocturne is actually going to go, and this Rumble, as they're obviously two good flex picks.
That is true, and like you said, they could be flexes. It's assuming that they're going to their traditional roles, but again, like we could see something really crazy come out. It could be like a Lilia coming out, and then it's just everyone's swapped around. Lilia actually might be good because you get the sleep. That's easy to hit ults with, the burn especially. But we're going to see right here what their last pick is going to be. And drum roll. Oh, it's a Jarvan. Actually,
it's not locked in yet. Let's see what it is.
Hasn't locked in yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guess
I've actually, yeah, it looks like it's a Jarvan, but I'm hearing that it is actually a graphical error. As you saw a little flicker there for a moment, it's actually supposed to be a Malphite coming in for POG.
Yeah, I mean, despite it being I would have liked to see the Jarvan more than the Malphite, but I mean, I can see what they're going for. They're kind of just going for an all-in team comp, kind of with a little bit of peel from the Bramble. Everything gets stacked up on top of each other. It's kind of like a bounce castle that also just burns you on the other side, with the Rumble and Nocturne being able to use displacement with the his ultimate, not being able to see. Well, I want to talk about this Urgot pick. Oh,
yeah, we were hearing that the Urgot is actually Sass as well. Just a little bit of a graphical glitch on those last two picks. So Malphite, Sylas in the top lane. I actually think that's an exciting matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the Sylas kind of just slaps around Malphite. It's used as a counter pick, and Team OOD has effectively used their R5 to counter the top lane on the blue side, which is pretty standard, but it's also going to be very effective going into the later stages of the game. Sylas now has a lot of ultimates he can steal and put to good use.
Yeah, you got a Rumble, you got the Bramble, the Nocturne to buy some space if something breaks out. You got a Malphite ult. Like, it's just, like you said, there's so much he can take from this team. This is like, it's almost heaven. The only thing I can think would be better is if like it was an Ashe, he just steals an Ashe ult. But these are interesting comps that we're seeing here. I'm not sure who I have to take this one.
At this level of play, I expect Team OOD to take it, but I can imagine a world where POG takes it just simply due to they snowball ahead very far. But other than that, I think OOD had won the draft.
That's what I think too. But we have seen crazy upsets even in the game earlier today. So we get onto the riff for game 2. POG versus OOD. We're on. Let's see where this all ends up.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk a little bit about the lane states, because I don't think either of these teams are going to go for an invade, as Team OOD is pushing for a 5-point start, and it looks like POG is just kind of just sitting there, just and careful. Maybe if they catch them on the invade for an early kill, but I think the top lane matchup is heavily Sylas favored. The jungle matchup is mostly going to be power querying and power farming from both sides of these junglers, as they both like their level 6. Udyr doesn't have the traditional ultimate, but power leveling and power farming allows him to clear his camps and cover for lanes, and also just get the early drakes. That's where they're probably going to be stacking, whereas Nocturne has a harder time doing that. The mid lane, sorry to interject, but the mid lane matchup is skewed with the Rumble can go even with the Orianna, and Draven and Thresh should win the matchup in bot lane.
That's true. I was just going to say, I'm actually interested in seeing what the Udyr max first. I'm not sure how it is at the higher levels, if there's a particular one you max, or if it's still as flexible as I see other people go for it. I'm assuming if he's going for early objective control, he's going to try for maybe getting Tiger stance first, but if he's looking to just clear camps or help maybe manage waves, maybe the Phoenix stance. Those are usually the first two you see get maxed. The very few times I play Udyr, I like to max the bear and just run faster. Just faster ganks. Gotta go fast bear. Hedgehog bear. That's what we call hedgehog bear. It is blue.
Yeah, I mean, something pure that we didn't get to point out while we were monologuing a little bit is that the Udyr actually opted to start on the red side first without a leash. And I guess that's just to match where the Nocturne was, although the blue start for Nocturne is really peculiar on my side. But I think what OOD is trying to go here is, instead of trying to gank the Malphite, is actually sync up the on the Team OOD side in order to get a Lantern gank onto the bot lane.
Bro is just taking hit after hit there. Photograph getting a lot of damage onto Crow right there. Half healthing him already. Probably would have been a bit more, but the Guardian coming out from Fat Ectomorph is going to keep him alive. And a hook goes just wide right there. But talking like you said earlier about the top lane matchup, it's being Sylas favored. I know that Malphite, I think his Q range is a little bit longer. Actually, hang on. Bob Jones looking like he wants to get a little thing going on right there. But they're just going to back off. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about this Malphite-Sylas matchup.
This Malphite, normally you pick Malphite into top laners who do 80 bruisers, or even just the ranged matchup, as he can survive with cloth armor because of his passive and his overall tank stat of armor being so high. But when Sylas interjects into this lane, Sylas is able to punish him due to the percent HP damage and magic damage he does. And if Malphite kind of normally just stacks the armor rune, if he doesn't take magic resist runes, he's just going to take a pummeling in this lane.
Yeah, I'm assuming he did take MR rune, especially seeing his matchup. However, also the heal is something important, as Antunes takes a little bit right there. He has to flash forward. He is going to get stunned. The exhaust coming out of Photograph helps stop some damage right there. Both junglers are down here. The bear is coming flying. Crow getting so low. It's going to go first blood over to the Thresh, but the rest of POG is here. They're going to have to flash out. Bad Acromorph getting so low. He's going to go down fat. Photograph does get a kill. He's going to get a couple stacks. Doesn't have a lot right now, but the hunt is still on Mento looking for Fried Rumble. And I don't know where the Nocturne's a spooky ghost. He's trying to exercise that ghost right there. Goes for those raptors.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of an overextension up on the side of POG, but I can see what they're going for. They got a favorable trade. They got the passive stacks on Antunes. But past that point, you've already used your Blade Caller and your Q and your Blade Caller onto the Thresh. At that point, Draven has been free hitting you for about 4 autos, and he's already stacked up his Conqueror. As we saw what happened, Crow was out of abilities, out of summoner spells, and Photograph just auto-attacked him down.
Yeah, and he's already up 800 gold with that cash, and it was a light one, but still 1,500 gold, 1,600 or so in pocket right now for the Draven. He's gonna back. I'm assuming he's gonna buy a BF sword, or not BF sword. That little is it Quicksilver or
The Noon Quiver?
Yeah, the Noon Quiver. I don't know why I want to call it Quicksilver. I'm thinking Quicksilver.
He's actually opting to go the Sheen.
Ooh, that's an interesting first buy right there. I would expect that out of a Draven.
Yeah, I'm not too caught up on my ADC Draven builds, but that is a pure item indeed. I understand where it's coming from, as he always procs the Q and the W. He's constantly proccing spells with his auto attacks. He's probably going for more of an on-hit build rather than a crit build or a lethality build, but I assume this is... Actually, I take that back. He's probably building that into an Essence Reaver.
Ooh, that's like good point. That'd actually be really great for him. Never running out of mana, always having those axes ready to go. Even when if they're not up, he can just proc another set of them. So that'll be good for him. Bob Jones, ooh, doing a lot of damage onto Crit right there. Crit already getting down to probably about 55% of his health. He's gonna back off though. And right now, the state, very good for OOD. One of those kills did go onto the Thresh, the first one, so the bigger chunk of that gold. But still, that's going to put him closer to getting... I'm assuming he's going to run Locket. That's traditionally what you want to run on a Thresh, since he's playing backline support, help reposition and save your Draven, especially in this comp where that Nocturne and that Malphite are looking to just pile onto him every point. So... in the end, like that works out. I always think of a couple early kills for the support, especially pre 8 minutes are good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when I play Thresh, I like to rush movie boots to be able to help on the side of the map, but also on the side, that's also my preference. But also talking about preference, I think all 3 support items on Thresh right now are pretty viable, as on this team, on their Team OOD's team comp, they lack kind of engage, so I think a Chem Tank wouldn't be that bad, especially, and the Shirelias might not even be that bad either, just so their team can kite it out. But as you were saying, Locket isn't a bad item either.
Ooh, the Malphite. Oh my god, Bob just blows up Crit Addict. I didn't even see him steal the ult earlier, but that was good. I was like, oh, he's low on mana. He's just gonna die. Nope. Takes him out.
Yeah, kind of just a bait. Bob Jones acting like he was going to go for a recall on the bush, but turns around just enough mana to execute the ult and the E and just blows up Crit Addict.
Yeah, we talk about Malphite being rock solid, but that was a rock solid play coming out of Bob Jones right there. The dragon is started up for OOD. There isn't anybody down here to respond on POG. I think this is going to go for free. It is another Infernal start, so we've got one of 3 options left on that solo. We'll have to see what dragon comes up next, but a good first dragon for them.
Yeah, I mean, some good timing. A little bit later than I expected it to come out, but nonetheless, still taken. You saw that Bob Jones still had his TP up after solo killing Crit Addict. Take the back. The bot line had already shoved in the wave, so it's just perfect timing for OOD to take that dragon.
Indeed it was, and it is another Mountain Drake, so it could be another Cloud. It could be the exact same pattern as last time, but it's Ocean or Cloud Soul again this game. I know for a fact if Pog's going to definitely want that Cloud for those much lower ult cooldowns, but if you're OOD, which one are you looking more towards trying to grab?
From Team OOD, I'm probably looking for something along the lines of a Ocean Soul, but I mean... that's only by a small margin. The Cloud Drake is obviously always a great Drake to have, especially with the movement speed-based champions that they have.
Indeed, and also with those ults, Draven throws his ult. Even if it doesn't do much damage, it's going to let him get us some movement speed right after. In the case of Udyr, I think, doesn't technically all of his abilities proc as though it's an ult? I can't remember if it's that or just Phoenix Stance.
I'm not sure. I think it's just Phoenix stance, but nonetheless, the movement speed and the CDR is still great.
Mento, Gwyncy, and Bobrovsky looking for him right there. 2 ults going out. Gwyncy's going to take the kill. Good hide in that jungle. Good return for the side of POG. Try to get something back in this game after a rough early start. But I'm not sure if 2 ults was really necessary to blow for that one.
Yeah, not necessarily needed to blow it, but I mean, in the end, still net the kill, still get some counter jungling done, and it's just a great play overall by POG.
That's true. And their cooldowns, like you already see, they're almost back. At least for Gwyncy, he's already at a third of his cooldown back, so very low. So it's easy to just kind of span that a little bit. Nocturne maybe a little bit longer. He's only at a quarter right now, but
yeah.
Map state,
there's not much kill threat onto the Orianna.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to get much. Ooh, the hook from Antunes onto Crow. Getting Crow into the ultimate, but he's kind of stuck in place right now. Photograph looking to grab a kill right here. Fat Echo trying to find something. Crow getting low. He is going to go down. Photograph trying to run away. They get 2 kills. Gwyncy's here on his own. All 5 members of OOD pile into the bot lane, and it's 2 kills over to OOD.
Yeah, you blink and you miss it, Rap. Crow just... out. Still with his flash, Antunes just weaves in a hook, grabs it, and the whole team of OOD supports him, even with, despite already winning that kill, those kills.
Yeah, and you know we saw Crow. He ulted, he had his flash, but he didn't use it to try to get out of that. Maybe he just thought that he wasn't gonna get out no matter what. And it looked like they might be able to turn that around. You know, there was Fat Ecto with that shield, and Photograph got so low. But once the shield goes down, free damage onto Crow, and the coming in of the Ori and the Udyr, it really set up a solid play right there. And now we actually have 2 kills on Sylas and Draven, which is honestly, I think, where you want all the kills on this team.
Yeah, I mean, Team OOD's early game is playing out exactly how I foretold it, and it's honestly might even be going better, but they're in a great spot right now.
Yeah, you're a little bit of a fortune teller, aren't you? Tell me, who dies next? I gotta know.
You know, who's going to die next? I think it's actually going to be Fat Ectomorph. I really do think it's going to be Fat Ectomorph again.
Ooh, we'll have to see if your psychic powers are true, or if they're just a little fake plastic ball and some good luck on the guesses. And then we get into this a little bit further. 11 minutes in, almost 2,000 gold lead going over to OOD as they look to push this lead. Getting some vision cleared out. The dragon up in a minute and a half. Getting Mountain would be good, keeping that away from POG and their tanks. Bob looking to try to push that way forward. He is going in onto crit. It's going to be a little bit of trade. He's taking the worst end of that, but he gets the ult back. And I actually think like the worst part of an AP matchup for Malphite is he has to build MR, so he's not getting the scaling out of his the armor builds. As a Nocturne ult comes in, they go into the bot lane. It looks like you were wrong. Antunes is going to go down first. Fat Ecto goes forward with the ult. They're looking to try to grab Photo, but he is going to flash and get out. Return kill for POG. 3 people piling onto the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think the one thing that POG is actually doing well is that they're actually moving Gunsy around fairly well, slipping into these pockets of vision, getting these ganks off. But as we say that, it looks like Mento really just wants to sit on Crit Addict, who wanted to go for a war and has forced to ult out.
Yeah, very close. He got to get out of there. Can't let more kills go over to this Sylas. As we saw this weekend in the LCS, if Sylas gets a lead, like, oh my god, Photo just blowing through Crow right now. Crow has to ult to get out. That Ecto is going to go down. Looks like your prediction is just going to come one late, but actually Crow, that's not Crow, sorry. Photograph goes down. Gwyncy comes and gets a double kill for himself. What a bait.
Yeah, I mean, Crow just thinks he can take the 1v1. Photograph does a little bit more damage than he thought he could take, and it's just baited in by Gunsy. The trigger finger flashes in, no hesitation. His autos are hurting.
Yeah, and that's brought them right back into this game. The gold lead is basically wiped out at this point for these teams. And they're picking on this bot lane. They definitely really don't want this Draven getting any more of a lead than he has.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good timing, too. The Dragon was spawning, so and OOD was very low. POG knew they could extend the league and possibly just get this Drake for free, which is what Bob Ross be starting. It's a good read from Mento, being on the top side of the map, knowing they're going to take this Drake and actually trading it for the Herald to get something back. But overall, that's a 4-0 Rumble at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's terrifying. Those ults are going to hurt, especially as we saw the flamethrower. He just torched through them like he was a wildfire through eucalyptus. Not a good thing to see already. 12 and a half minutes in. 4-0 is just going to make it worse. Looking at the gold lead, though, well, his gold lead is almost the exact same lead as Photograph has over Crow right now.
Yeah, it's the same thing as basically Photograph, but the thing is that Gunsey with one item is way stronger than Photograph, as he can hit multiple people rather than just the one person Photograph has to focus.
That is completely true. And I want to talk about something that we saw in the previous play when they first went bottom. Bobrovsky was mid, but he drops the ult so they don't see Gunsey walking into the lane. And I think that's actually a really clever use of the ult. Even like it is a global ult. Blind is global. And ooh, Fat Ecto going forward. Here comes the engage. Bobrovsky looking to try to grab onto Photograph. Another ult coming in from there. Gunsey ults 2. He's down here. It's a 4v3, and 2 go down. Udyr's down. Draven's down. They're looking for Antunes too. Gunsey gonna try to grab him. He does get flayed, but Antunes is gonna roast. This Rumble is massive, and POG is after a rough early game is in a commanding position right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just rinse and repeat for POG. They just keep on going. They already know they're playing a weak side top lane. They know they're gonna lose it. Although Bob Jones is taking some heavy damage, but he just heals off of those 12 Conqueror stacks.
Yeah, that's the one downside against playing against a Malphite, or a Silas. Oh, the Q comes in to finish him off. I almost thought he missed it for a moment. Bob Jones getting the solo kill on the top side. Like I was saying, the downside of dueling Silas, it doesn't matter if you get him low. He's going to W, and he's just going to heal off of that.
Yeah. I mean, Silas in this matchup, even though you think you're going to win, Silas has 12 Conqueror stacks. He heals with his W, and all of a sudden you've lost all hope.
Yeah, hope is gone. Nothing left for the Malphite. Just hope he can just weather this out and his team can get enough of a lead. And they do have a massive one right now. Full item on the Rumble with the Stork shoes. Orianna got the full boots, but still short of that first item. It looks like she's going to go for... Am I reading it right? If I'm right, Everfrost is the item that you build out of those two?
I think so. I don't play mages, so I might be wrong. I think it is Everfrost.
Yes.
So it's probably the Poplar-wise build.
Yeah, I am getting confirmation it is Everfrost. So many of these new Mythic items have just you get used to the same build paths for like 10 years, and then suddenly there's a whole new set of items. As a gank comes in, Gunsey has to go golden, but here comes the OOD. Gunsey getting low, but the ult drops. Big Twig's gonna have to back out there. Good attempt on the gank. 2 ults burned, but they do get the stopwatch out of the Rumble.
Yeah, that's a good stopwatch. Something I want to talk about was the mid lane matchup. Is that even since Rumble gets the push in, Orianna, she's stuck in the lane clearing the waves, and despite Rumble moving about 3 times as more than the Orianna, the CS is almost damn near even.
Yeah, they're going to drop this Herald mid lane. I think at this point it's going to go, oh, hang on. Photograph getting ganked on the bottom side. They are piling onto him again, and he is going to go down. Antunes is going to follow again. It's just rinse and repeat in this mid lane. And the mid turret, just so close, but it's not going to go down either.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to give the boys a break. Get a get out of jail free card. Photograph needs to pull one out of the item shop. He just cannot catch a break.
When I play a bot lane like that, and I'm just ganked over and over. I'm usually just mad. I'm like, oh my god, when is this gonna end? Please get me out of this. The turret not quite down, actually just went down, so they do have at least they can play a little bit further back as a teleport is coming in from Bob Jones. He does have the Malphite ult. He goes in. Oh, he hits a 3-man Malphite ult. Photograph gets the kill on the Crow, and now goes down the Nocturne, going over to the Orianna, looking for another. Bob Jones going to grab Fat Ectomorph, and OOD finds the play to get themselves back in. Gets quite a bit of gold out of that shutdown. I'm pretty sure I saw they're on to Bobrovsky, and right back in we go. Bob Jones had that lead we saw earlier, and he's making good use of it.
Yeah, Bob Jones really is going to be the key to their fights now. That Draven's not necessarily behind, but he's not necessarily ahead anymore either. But I mean, with these ultimates,
Big Twig, he just gets flashed up, ult queued, and he goes down immediately. It's a roast robot that probably doesn't smell very good, but Gunsey, like, he's just so massive right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason Team OOD won that fight was, one, because POG kind of overstayed their welcome, feeling good after they kill Photograph, and he's just walking back to lane, not really sweeping out the enemies, thinking a TP can come up from behind. But also because Gunsey wasn't in that fight at all. Gunsey and Bobrovsky were effectively on the top side of the map, still making their way over, and I worry that Team OOD is going to kind of overstay their welcome, kind of get a big head, and not think that they can win these fights, when really they were missing a 7-0 Rumble.
Yeah. But I mean, on the other side, that's the downside for POG. If the Rumble isn't there, their team fight is basically even, if not behind. All of this gold right now is on the Rumble. The Dragon's going to get started up. Oriana just responds. She's going to get down here, though. Ooh, Silas getting engaged on. He's trying to run away. Bob Jones trying to get out. He's going to get low. He's going to go down. The Malphite finally getting the shutdown onto him. And OOD, they may be staying around too long. They've got to hurry this up. Here comes Rumble. They're going for the Dragon. It's going to get stolen by Bobrovsky as the ult comes in. Photograph looking to try to grab a kill. Mento getting engaged on two. Photograph getting low with the exhaust. He is going to go down. Mento falling two. They grab a kill onto Big Twig 2, and it turns into disaster for OOD. 4 kills and a Dragon to POG.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of see what happens in this fight. Yeah, a little bit of technical issue. We finally got the replay going. See Bob Jones going hard on Gunsy, trying to zone him out of the fight. Or we just chucking him down, but the whole team's kind of converging. Now he's split off. It looks like that OOD wanted to get the Dragon, but they weren't really in the right headspace to do it. Looks like Bob Jones walks a little bit too far forward, and POG just sees that opportunity, jumps on the most fed member of the team, and as OOD tries to rush it down, Bob Rossby with some heroics jumps into the pit and steals it away from Menso. And from this point on, it looks like OOD just has to run.
Yeah, and that ward spotting out Bob Jones, I think, is what cost him there. They didn't clear the pit, unfortunately. And at that point, like, if you're OD, I think you just try to back off. They go, okay, maybe we shouldn't go for this Dragon. But they stick to it. It cost them it. They're going to lose this mid turret too. And now, just as they were swinging back in, it swings back out. This is a game of pen. This is like one of those old cuckoo clocks, or one of those like old grandfather clocks, just swinging back and forth on the pendulum.
Yeah, I think the Dragon call wasn't necessarily the worst call that OOD could have made. I think it was more the positioning and the vision control. The area where Bob Jones had actually walked was just a horrible spot to choke to walk through, and POG noticed that and just jumped on him right away. And without Bob Jones, the rest of OOD isn't a threat.
Yeah, they have to keep him alive. They have to play protect the president, but not with Draven. It is with the Silas. Like you said, he's the biggest member on this team. He is the X factor that can win them the fight. But without him, they're basically like fish floundering in water. They have nothing to try to turn around engages on.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And honestly, as this game goes on further and further on, I feel like POG is going to be choking them out of vision because of the gold lead they have. OOD is effectively, because they're behind, are going to be scared of warding and deeper into the enemy jungle. And these objectives and sightlines are just going to be given up to POG for free.
Yeah, there's nothing they can really do about that. You get caught out, you're basically dead. As an ult is coming in from the Nocturne, I'm not sure who they're looking for. It looks like they were trying to get onto Big Twig. 2 ults burning right there. They burn the Rumble ult as well. Get him only to like a third of his health down. Bob Jones goes in on the crit. Hit him at a long range with that E. But it's just a little bit of duel right there. I think that unfortunately didn't work. But now with 2 major ults down for Team OOD, for POG, OOD is like, okay, this is the chance. We can try to make something right here. And you know, Bobrovsky is staying around, but he doesn't have his ultimate. He can't really get over that wall and do much without flashing, and I don't know if he can find much as this turret is getting so low. I'm not sure it's worth risking staying around.
Yeah, you can see Mento there kind of just playing with his old friends, kind of just trying to play some vision control, spamming some emotes, but I mean, at the same time, they just get the tier 1 mid and trying to just back out.
Yeah, and Ori not there, just farming up on the top side. Ori isn't, you know, she's not going to be the big carry. She's not going to just absolutely like hard carry a fight. But if she can get a couple more items on herself, get that ult, hit it. I mean, there's a lot of mobility on POG with the Malphite and the Nocturne, but they're trying to pile on targets. If you pile on a target, you're perfect spotted for the Ori to get a beautiful ult, and a 5-man ult can really turn a fight.
Yeah, I can really turn a fight, but it's also she has to worry about the dive from the Malphite and the Nocturne this whole time, and I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, either she's going to, if they get on her, I mean, she can always sombrero it and hope that gets them, as POG is looking to be a little cheeky here in the bush. But I think they can buy some room if Mento and Bob Jones are there. If Bob Jones is there and he has, say, the Rumble ult or the Malphite ult, I think they can buy some good time. If they have the Bobrovsky's ult, they can also buy a good amount of time. There's a lot of ults here that can help give his team space, but like we saw in that last fight, if he's not there, there isn't really much way they can buy space. Udyr doesn't really have disengage. He has his Hedgehog Bear Slap, but that's not really gonna, that's only 1 target, and it's only once like every 5 seconds, so not the best disengage there. So they've got, if they're gonna do this, they have to group up together. They have to have the whole team there, and they have to be prepared to turn, and also just to be prepared to disengage.
Yeah, I mean, they just have to really be prepared. I think it's going to be a slow, painful death if Team OOD can't really win a fight at the next Drake. But other than that, I mean, they're in a position where they can turn the tables, but it's going to be a very uphill battle.
And not soul point yet, so it's not do or die for the dragons, but you know, Ocean Drake will be really good. It will help dissuade some of that it will help keep Photograph alive longer in a fight to get more of that DPS out. He does have 2 full items. So does Crow. They have kind of caught up to each other. I don't know how long it's been since Photograph back. He might have a little bit more on his hand than we're seeing here. So everyone starts coming up toward the top side. The 2 top laners, ironically, in the bot lane. This could be a dive. This is a very low turret. It could be a pretty easy one. But the rest of POG is going to back out, and now Mento goes for it. He's chasing on Gunsey. He's going to stun him up. Here comes the ultimate. Gunsey going to get his down. He's going to go golden, but no one is on top. The Nocturne ult coming out from Joan, I think. No, it was from Bobrovsky. Trying to save his teammate, but they get the shutdown onto him, and Bob Joan getting engaged on by 4. The Malphite ult comes through. He gets the Malphite ult steal, though, and he gets away, and he burns the Brahmo. What a beautiful escape from Bob Joan as the mid turret is getting hit. The dragon is up, but I think they're just going to let this one go and fight for stopping soul point on the next one. The mid turret does go down, though, on that inhibitor turret from the Herald.
Yeah, I mean, a great escape from Bob Joan and a great kill onto Gunsey from Team OOD, but overall, I mean, you traded the soul point for the shutdown on Rumble, which, I mean, if your intention is that you're going to win every single fight after and just fight them at soul point, it's a good play. Like, you get some gold onto your carries, like, whatever. But at this point, you have to fight for the next soul, because if Team POG ends up getting Ocean Soul, this game is effectively almost lost.
Yeah, you can't let them get it. They have to fight for this next Drake. They've got 3 to stop before the soul point is down as they go over the wall. Mento looking for Bobrovsky. He's going to flash away, but he's not going to get away. The ult comes through. They're looking to try to grab Photograph. Photograph getting low, but he goes down. Bobrovsky slays Antunes, though, in the process. And now they're kind of stuck here. 2 ults were burned. Crit.
Big Twig is something left.
Big Twig, why are you still around? Oh, he kind of gets the ult, but Gunsey's going to slay him. Now it's just Bob Jones against 4, and they're going to let him die too. A double kill over to the Rumble. They were looking to get something out of that, but the tables were turned by POG, and now POG's going to start up the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of an overzealous kind of chase in from Team OOD. I see what the intention was. Force Bobrovsky out, maybe even get the Baron after, since the jungler would be dead. Looks like OOD is kind of trying to contest it, maybe poke around this Baron a little bit more. But overall, it's going to end up dropping to Team POG.
Yeah, now the fight going forward. Photograph looking for something right here. Crow ults go hard. He flashes to get the E, and he does pick off Photograph finally. And now it's just Mento. He's going to go down a double kill for this Zaya. She coming back into this game. Gold lead 6,000 for POG right now, and OOD's solid starts. It all came tumbling down when they just started getting piled on their bot lane by POG.
Yeah, I mean, OOD, it starts with the overzealous chase. They go into the enemy jungler, aren't able to finish off Bobrovsky, and Gunsey just gets a perfect ult in the choke, effectively burning out like 3 of their members. And as everybody on OOD makes for the escape, Big Twig is left alone because the team has decided he has to be the sacrificial pawn going over the wall with the Blasco.
Yeah, and they're looking to posture, try to get vision right now, try to just get some gold back in their pockets, try to find just some way to get back into this game. If it is OD can get back in this game, I mean, we have seen miracle plays in the leagues before. What is the play here? How does OD claw their way back in?
The way OOD claws their way back in is they have to keep on finding these picks under the Rumble and Zaya, but with the Zaya ult and having flash available whenever it's up, it's going to be super hard to do that. By the time you dive their backline, because they don't have any real hard engage other than Bob Jones stealing a Malphite ultimate, it's almost too tall of an order for OOD to come back to this game.
Oh,
Team POG really has to mess up.
That would be unfortunate if they can't at least try to make a last stand here. They did take the top turret. Bottom turret is going to go down, and POG is looking like they're going to try to march this in to the bottom inhibitor turret, try to crack open the more of the base, grab themselves that exposed mid inhibitor, and maybe this bottom one too. Silas is back here now. The ult coming in from Gwyncy to get onto Big Twig, but he's going to get disengaged with by Antunes. Bob Jones does have the Malphite ult. They are grouped. They have to be careful here. If POG makes one mistake, they could easily get blasted here by an Ori Malphite combo, and that is not something they want. Bob Jones waiting on the wings, looking for something right here. He is. Not going to find it right now. POG is playing very safe. Photograph taking a lot of damage there. Can't step too far forward. A hook coming in from Antunes, but only onto a minion. He's getting down to probably a fifth of his health right there. He's going to have to run back to base. Big Twig's back from his heal. This turret is about to fall, and there goes the ult into 3 people. They're looking to do it, but the Malphite ult comes right back around. Photograph getting low. He isn't going to die quite yet. He's going to have to run away. Quincy gets a killing spree. He takes down the Orianna. They're trying to disengage on the side of OOD, but it's so hard. There's just so much chasing them. Quincy's ult finally coming out, and OOD, Bob Jones going in, trying to grab Quincy. Quincy going on a rampage. He's going to take out that Silas. OOD trying to heal up, trying to maybe turn this around that they're low, trying to maybe fight them off from the inside of their net, their fountain. But Quincy getting picked off. He goes down. It's a shutdown for Photograph. And now the hunt is on, trying to find something else. The ults have been disengaged, but Photograph, fat active flash Q, fails to land. And now can OOD turn this around? They do hook onto crit. Mento looking to slap something there. Antunes goes in. I think he's going to die. He is. Photograph may follow him shortly. He's going to go down too. 2 kills going over to POG. And now they're going to break this inhibitor. Are they going to stay around to end it? They're actually going to back off. I think they're just going to go right for this dragon and take the soul.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I think OOD got a little bit hypey. They got as much kills as they could. They got Gunsy. They probably should have walked away, as Photograph was already at like 400 HP. And they're kind of just walking into POG. As we saw it, even as Gunsy was dying, he dished out at least half of their health before going down. It was just a little bit too much. They probably should just cut their losses, but in the end, POG is still out on top. Already gotten your inhib, gotten the second one on top of that, and soul.
Yeah, and it was looking like a good start there. Bob Jones does get the 3-man ult hit with the Malphite ult he stole, but he doesn't hit the Malphite, just slightly to the left, and that gives crit. Once the rest of his OD's team goes forward, they realize they didn't hit crit, and that gives crit the perfect opportunity to ult right in, get Photograph basically to 1 health, and then he's out of the fight. He's the only DPS on this team. Bob Jones can put out a bit, but he's not like a tank shredder. He's not gonna like roll right through them. And Quincy now getting an ult out. Oh my god, Photograph swinging that for a second. 2/3 of his health bar gets obliterated.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the repercussion for not going to shield bow. He's a little bit more squishy in these fights, but is doing as much damage as he can. And that's really what his team is lacking at this point. Bob Jones had a beautiful ult, but on the sense of it hit all these targets, but in reality, his team was at least a screen away and wasn't able to follow up. What they want is the Malphite and the Worry Ball combo. And if they don't land that, their fight is literally going to happen what just happened on the screen a couple minutes ago, where they're just dogpiling on top of each other, slowly getting pushed back.
Yeah, now here comes Bobrovsky going in, trying to grab on to Mento. Mento getting low. The ult comes in from Crit. Photograph has to flash out. Crit, though, very far in. The Ori ult comes in. Bobrovsky getting low, trying to get out of there. Here comes Quincy with the ult. He's burning through all of them. Photograph goes down. They do take out the Nocturne, though. Quincy grabs another. He's got 2. Saya grabs another as well. There's 4 down on the side of OD. Make that a 5th, I think. Quincy's looking for it. A triple kill over to Quincy, and I think that's going to be the game.
Yeah, I mean, this Rumble is just built different, Raptor. He's 14-2, shredding the enemy backline by himself. As soon as Team OOD's used all their flashes, they're just sitting in the ultimate, and they just end up dying.
What an incredible turn of events from how this game started for POG. They're going to take this game. They're going to advance to 2-1, and when you get behind like that, that is the way you play. You slam and slam and slam the bot lane again until they just give up.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that Team OOD didn't have a fighting chance. In the early game, it was looking very favorable for them. Team POG, a little bit of mistakes in the beginning of the game. They were overextending a little bit, and Photograph, being the Draven and the Thresh lane they are, noticed that and focused on the bot lane, going 2v2 kills, was up even like 800 gold in the first back, really trying to extend their lead. But as soon as Gunsy started making his roams and Big Twig was kind of just sitting mid trying to farm up, the amount of farm Big Twig was able to get did not amount to anything in comparison to the amount of gold Gunsy got from the kills in the roam team.
Yeah, and that was a very, very unfortunate situation for OD. They can take a lot away from it, though. Like, if the comp against them and the way that POG played it was just really unfortunate for their comp and their situation, but they still put a fighting chance up. They still were fighting back. They weren't just letting POG have their way. Every fight, they still would take it. Even if they were getting low, they'd still try to grab something out of it. They were still looking for trying to make plays. They were still looking for picks. And I mean, that's the kind of instinct that, like, in a game where it's not that far behind, where there isn't this mad 10-2 rumble, that you can find a way back in. You can claw your way back into a game and find victory. So I think they can at least be proud and hold their heads high that they did put up a good fight.
Yeah, I certainly agree, and I look forward to seeing them next week as well.
Indeed. I actually want to see the damage graphs. I want to see how much this rumble did. I imagine it's massive. Oh my god, 30,000 damage, almost 31,000 coming out of this rumble. This Quincy was a monster.
Yeah, I mean, effectively taking the top lane, Malphite and Zaya's damage together and putting it onto the Rumble is about amounting to almost that. It's just really just taking over this game. We saw it in his team fights, shredding these enemy backlines.
Yeah, and it was excellent use of that. The mid lane rumble coming through in the end. Well, that does it for us right now, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with an interview right after this.
folks. Welcome back. Chris Edgeworth again on the interview desk. I am joined by POG's Gunsy, fresh out of the mid lane with a 14-2-5 game on Rumble. How are you feeling after that game, man?
What's up, Chris? Oh, it was a good win. I feel like it was a big win for us, especially since we started off the first week, not ideally with our first loss of the season. So it's just good to be up 3-1 now, and hopefully no more losses for the rest of the season. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, honestly, this is a hell of a statement game, especially from you, putting up the big numbers. I mean, you saw. I don't know if you saw the damage chart, but it was a bit spicy for you.
A little bit of a mid diff, yeah.
Yes, indeed. So let me ask you about this mid diff then. What was this draft that you guys put together? I mean, it was a lot of big flashy ults and all of this. Bobrovsky was really handy with that Nocturne ult in many different ways. What do you feel about this draft you put together?
He was. I definitely think that Nocturne was the most important piece of our comp. Just having that Nocturne ult at a 45-50 second cooldown to just like align with my ult and just be perma roaming. You could, if you saw me laning early on throughout the game, I wasn't too big on trading heavily or going for solo kills. It was just, you know what, I'm level 6, let's push mid and get the jungler and just go bot lane, just help them out. And that's just how we pretty much won the entire game. It was a pretty simple game plan that ended up working out for us.
Yeah, you guys certainly executed what you brought into the game for sure. It was really awesome watching you guys repeatedly. I mean, you just basically gave Draven the direst treatment. You just didn't want him to play League of Legends today, it looked like, and it was just unfortunate for him. And speaking of the bottom lane, you got a little bit of a betrayer down there with Antunes. How is it matching up against him?
Me personally, I don't have any quarrel against Antunes, but I know our jungler Bobrovsky was pretty happy to get the win. Yeah, I was saying some pretty nasty things about Antunes or Kevin during the game, but I won't speak on that too much.
Better left unsaid, I'm sure. You know, we don't want to get TOS or anything.
No, of course not.
So, in the middle of the game, I mean, you guys really, I mean, if you look at the stats, it looks like a hell of a game. But like in the middle, it was 9-9. They stabilized. They got sort of a big fight on you guys on the bot side of the map. And then, how did you guys feel as a team in that moment, and then taking the eventual lead in such a convincing fashion?
You know, starting off in the beginning of the game, I know around like level 4 or 5. In the bot lane, we lost, I think, 1 or 2 skirmishes, which kind of set us behind. I think we were 1 to 5 kills, and we are just kind of playing from behind. That was kind of when, like, you know what, we'll just have to like sack like the individual game plan and just like outplay them as a team better. So just winning these like smaller fights, like every minute or so, just whenever our ults were off cooldown, just really like made the difference. And it was definitely like a good feeling to be able to come back, knowing that, you know what, like if we lose like 1 or 2 small skirmishes, like it's not going to affect like our game plan. Like nothing's going to change. We're still going to play how we play and execute whatever we thought we were going to do before the game started.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you really did have a high tempo playstyle. You just like didn't give them a moment to breathe at all. It was just constant jab to the face. And you know, what are you going to do after so many of those? One final thing. I know that this came up during the draft, and I'll just leave you with this. What are your thoughts on the Rammus update? Is he just overtuned, or is this like legit? Like even if he was not overtuned numbers wise, this would be good stuff.
No, guys, Rammus is terrible. I don't think anyone should pick Rammus. Just let us pick it. We're playing at a disadvantage for everyone else. But no, on a serious note, we do think Rammus is pretty good in the meta right now, especially since there's a lot of healing champions and a lot of attack damage carries, and like an ADC focused meta with some like AD mid laners too, and especially AD junglers. We think it's like a really strong pick, and especially like since one of Rammus's weaknesses used to be that he couldn't gap close, but now with his ult, it does not seem to be an issue anymore, and he doesn't seem like a champion that has too many weak points now. So who knows? We might see Rammus next week when he's enabled, or I'm not too sure when. But we'll definitely be interested in giving it a try.
All right. Well, all I can say after that is okay. So with that, with that, Gunsy, I want to thank you for coming onto the desk and taking the interview with us. Any final words before we go?
Final words. I think someone was asking us about our competition in the league, and honestly, the only team we're looking forward to facing again is Ace. I know. I know there's some other French team, Quebec team. We're not too concerned about those guys, but apparently they've been like raising a lot of hype around the league. But yeah, we're not too worried about them.
a statement after a win. Enough said from Gunsy. Thank you again for joining us. Folks, we'll be right back after an intermission with our third game. Don't touch that browser.
All right, thanks for having me, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.